in the series, fifth canto, 16th chapter, where we had left off yesterday. From there, we will continue today. Before we begin, let us quickly offer prayers to our Guru Parampara and seek their blessings, so that we are benefited from this activity of devotional service, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, to be inspired to serve Sri Krishna and his devotees and the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sa Agrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are, Prabhu told me that the shloka and translation from the last verse also we should read. Prabhu, are you able?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhuji, before we start, I just want to welcome you and to the devotees. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. We are very glad and pleased to have the association of His Grace Chaitanya Prasad Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 5, sloka number 15 and 16. And apart from that, Prabhuji also will actually quickly read the sloka and translation of 13 and 14, which we could not cover yesterday. And let's extend our warm welcome to Prabhuji to this class. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Krishna. I seek the blessings of Srila Prabhupada so that we can do this study in the right mood for the right purpose. I also seek the blessings of my spiritual masters and all the assembled devotees here so that we can please the Lordship Shri Radha Vinodji and Srila Prabhupada by our efforts. We are reading the 16th chapter from many days. This is 13th shloka onwards. We will read the translations also along with the shlokas, and then we will go to the discussion of today, that is 15th and 16th. These verses are in prose order, so I will read it. You can also read along with me. There is no follow-up of the shlokas as we usually do. Hradashchatvara payo madhva ikshura samrishta jala yad upasprashina upadeva gana yogaishwaryani swabhavikani bharatarshabha darayanti devodyanani cha bhavanti chatvari nandanam chaitraratam Vaibhrajakam Sarvato Bhadramiti. Translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharata dynasty, between these four mountains are four huge lakes. The water of the first tastes just like milk, the water of the second like honey, and that of the third like sugarcane juice. The fourth lake is filled with pure water. The celestial beings such as the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, who are also known as demigods, enjoy the facilities of those four lakes. Consequently, they have the natural perfections of mystic yoga, such as the power to become smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. There are also four celestial gardens named Nandana, Chaitrarata, Vaibhrajaka, and Sarvato Bhadra. So these shlokas are all describing the Ilavrita Varsha, the innermost Varsha of the Jambu Dvipa, which is the central island in the Bhumandala. So in that Ilavrita Varsha, there are many mountains. On the four mountains at the periphery, there are these special actually trees, the lakes, which are being described here. This shloka and the next two shlokas also describe about these mountains on Ilavrita Varsha's periphery. So text 15. Yeshvamara parivridha sahasura lalana lalama यूथपतय उपदेवगणैर् उपगीयमान महिमान kila viharanti. We'll go here synonyms and translations also. Yeshu, in which, Amara Parivridha, the best of the demigods, Saha, with, Suralalana, of the wives of all the demigods and semi-demigods, Lalama, of those women who are like ornaments, Yuthapataya, the husbands, Upadevaganai, by the semi-demigods, the Gandharvas, Upagiyamana, being chanted, Mahimana, whose glories, Kila, indeed, Viharanti, they enjoy sports. Translation. The best of the demigods, along with their wives, who are like ornaments of heavenly beauty, meet together and enjoy within those gardens, while their glories are sung by lesser demigods known as Gandharvas. Text 16 also. Mandarotsanga ekadasha shata yojanottunga devachuta shiraso girishikara sthulani falanyamritakalpani patanti. We'll go to translation. On the lower slopes of Mandara mountain is a mango tree named Devachuta. It is 1,100 yojanas high. Mangoes as big as mountain peaks and as sweet as nectar fall from the top of this tree for the enjoyment of the denizens of heaven. So Prabhupada explains in the purport. In the Vayu Purana, there is also a reference to this great tree by great learned sages. Aratninam shatanyashtav ekashashti adhikanicha phala pramanamakyatam rishibhis tattvadarshibhi. Hare Krishna. So we have been learning this canto 5th, which is very important in the whole sequence of these 12 cantos. Srimad Bhagavatam, every description in Srimad Bhagavatam is for very specific purpose. The central purpose is to explain the prime shelter, the exclusive shelter, that is Ashraya, that is Lord Shri Krishna. But the other descriptions in Bhagavatam are actually for appreciating this shelter, that is Lord Krishna, Ashraya Tattva, and to develop a right understanding or conceptions and right attitudes to approach Lord Sri Krishna. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is a very scientifically explained description of Lord Sri Krishna's glories. This is explained by Srila Prabhupada in some of the verses of Bhagavatam itself. We will go to those verses, and today we will also read that. We'll try to see these descriptions of Canto 5 in the larger picture of Bhagavatam, and also we will go to the specific description we are reading to. So the whole Bhagavatam has, you all must be aware now, that there are 10 topics of Bhagavatam. You must have heard about this, Hare Krishna. Yes.
Yes.
Any recollect? Yes, yeah. So today in our discussion, we will go in this main points. We will, anytime, we have any discussion, I request all of you to involve and contribute. And also any questions are also welcome at the right appropriate time. So surely, we request all of you to involve in these discussions, especially because it is online. It is important to take benefit of this activity of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and that can be taken when we engage in it with great attention. So today in our discussion, we will see the Canto 5, one of the very difficult to understand cantos for conditioned mind and intelligence. Canto 5. What is its role, or what is its significance in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam? We will see that. And also we will see why there is such an elaborate description of material world, which is actually energy of the Lord called as Bahiranga Shakti. Ultimately, we have to leave this material world and go back to spiritual world. Then why not focus more on descriptions of spiritual world? Why we have to study this material world? Why the one who is just having few days to live, that is King Parikshita, is being described. In fact, he himself asks also questions. Please describe me the this particular cosmology, the planets, all these dvipas, varshas, to great details with such dimensions. So why is he inquisitive? Why is even Shukadev Goswami also enthusiastic to describe it? What is the need of studying it? And we will also see, specific to today's discussion, about description of Jambudvipa and Ilavrata Varsha in this. So just now we were talking about the 10 topics of Bhagavatam. Can someone please recollect them for all our benefit? Yes.
Sarga, Visarga, Poshanam, Sthanam.
Yes.
Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha.
Okay.
Prabhu, after that, not getting it.
Okay.
Ashraya.
Ashraya. Okay. Ashraya. So Sarga, Visarga, Poshanam, Sthanam, Uti, 5 happened. Then another devotee mentioned about Ashraya, 6 happened. Anything more?
Ishanukata, Manvantara, Nirodha.
Very right. Ishanukata, Manvantara, Nirodha. Yes. So total of this 10 topics described in Bhagavatam when the end of the second canto. So there these topics are not just mentioned, they're also explained with a brief definition also. So these topics are like this: Atra Sargaha, Visargaha cha, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha, 5th. Then Manvantara, Ishanukatha, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashraya. Total 10. So Shukadev Goswami, before beginning 3rd canto description, from where these 10 topics are described up till 12th. So 1st and 2nd canto are actually setting the stage for this description of 10 topics. The 1st canto describes about what is the adhikara or the qualification to receive this Srimad Bhagavatam? What are the right qualities which should be cultivated? That is described through the narrations of Narada boy, through the narrations of Shaunaka Rishi, how they are having right qualities, how Narada boy, ultimately how Parikshit, the ideal hearer of Bhagavatam. So that is described in first canto. In second canto, there are a lot of sadhanas described. You can remember in the beginning of second canto, there is Virata Rupa description. Then there is elaborate description of demigods. There is description of Lord in the heart, Paramatma. Then Lord of the spiritual world, that is Bhagavan, is established as the supreme form to attain. And what is the means to attain? There are many methods of spiritual practices, karma, jnana, yoga, and ultimately bhakti is established as the supreme most path. So sadhana tattva is the description in second canto. The first canto describes about adhikara tattva or qualifications. The second describes about the right sadhana. Then from third canto, all these 10 topics start getting detailed, by Shukadev Goswami. Sarga, Visarga, this is the topic in third and fourth canto. Now, fifth canto is the description of which subject? Along this 10. Which of the 10 topics is described?
Sthanam, no Prabhu.
Okay, sthanam. So, yes, rightly, sthanam. What is sthanam? What is sthanam?
The place where we live.
Place where we live. Yes. So, how is this description which we are reading explaining sthanam?
It is describing, no Prabhu, how the whole the thing formed and all that.
Yeah. The formation is described in Sarga and Visarga, but the characteristics of each place is described in Sthana. So, Sthana is something which follows after creation. So, what is Sthana? It is described by Shukadev Goswami only in the further shlokas. So, the next shloka he tells among all these 10, the most important is Dashama, Dashamasya, that is Ashraya Tattva, and all 9 are actually explaining the 10th topic in their ways so that one can appreciate the 10th topic properly. And then later he starts describing each of those 10 topics in simple, small lines. He tells about Sarga, he tells about Visarga, definitions of them. And then let's today go to that part which is relevant for our discussion, that is sthanam. So he says sthanam, the definition he says is, you can see the highlighted part, sthiti or sthanam. Sthitir Vaikuntha Vijayah. Sthitir Vaikuntha Vijayah. What do we understand by someone would like to explain? Please feel free. There is nothing, no need to feel that maybe it's right or wrong, or proper or improper. So Vaikuntha Vijayah. So we thought sthanam means description of places in this whole universe. But the description of sthanam which Shukadev Goswami is telling is Vaikuntha Vijaya. Vaikuntha Vijaya in simple words mean Vaikuntha Vijaya. Yes, Vijaya means victory. Vaikuntha, famous as the abode of the Lord, spiritual world. The Lord is also called by the name Vaikuntha. Especially it is Vishnu, right? So the Vijaya of Vishnu. Now we may wonder, what is this? Sthanam is described like this, Vaikuntha Vijaya. The translation Prabhupada says later below. Would someone like to read? Please read.
The right situation for the living entities is to obey the laws of the Lord and thus be in perfect peace of mind under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Manus and their laws are meant to give right direction in life. The impetus for activity is the desire for routine work. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you. So the situation is the translation, the word-to-word meaning for sthiti or sthanam. So the right sthanam is for the living entities to obey the laws of the Lord. So those who obey, those who obey, to the extent one obeys, to that extent the situations are given better and better. So Vaikuntha Vijaya, it has been described that you see in this whole universe, there are three primary activities: creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And for each of these three activities, the Purushavatara, that is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, he expands into three forms. And those three forms take care of them. Creation, who takes care of creation in general understanding?
Brahma.
Brahma, correct. The destruction is taken care by Lord Shiva. But when it comes to sthiti or maintenance, srishti sthiti laya, it's called, right? So sthiti or sthanam. So it is actually the function which Lord Vishnu himself does. Other two tasks he expands into, or he empowers the jiva, that is Brahma, or he expands in another form as Lord Shiva, and he does it. But for maintenance, he himself does it. So that shows the glory of Lord Vishnu, because you all must have heard this. It's easy to create. It's easy to destroy. To destroy is something very, very easy. To create is difficult. But the most difficult thing is to maintain, right? We all experience this. In the beginning, we do some nice project or, some service in the, related to devotional service. It's easy to stop it, or easy to, let's not talk as destroy, but easy to stop it. But to begin it, to make it happen, it takes a lot of endeavors. But to maintain it, but I heard that this practice of every day coming online and hearing Bhagavatam, His Grace Sankarshan Priya Prabhu was telling, right from the 2020, you're all doing it. It's almost close to 5 years now. Right? We're 5th year, no? This is. Yeah. Sometime around this only COVID had begun. So the point is that to maintain takes a lot of effort, and Lord Vishnu himself does it. And that is the speciality of this sthanam. So sthanam is described. I'm just showing something which I have drawn from multiple places from the words of Acharyas. Can someone please read on the screen? Please. Are all of you able to see this?
Yes.
Of sthanam, yes.
Hare Krishna. 2.10.4 says, Sthana Vaikunta Vijaya, victory of Lord Vaikunta. Sthanam mentioned in the verse 1 means protection, Sthitihi, which shows the excellence, Vijaya, of the Supreme Lord, Vaikuntasya, in comparison to Brahma, the creator, and Shiva, the destroyer. Sthiti also refers to the condition of the jivas, or Vaikunta Vijaya, can mean that the Lord destroys the suffering of the jiva, since Jaya means victory over. After the creation, the condition, the jivas, is described.
So, as a whole, what it means is that the Lord Vishnu maintains the whole universe. Whenever there are troubles, difficulties in the universe, collectively, for many jivas or for individual jiva also. Lord is the one who comes and protects, offers that protection, maintains it. So that is sthana. So these 10 topics of Bhagavatam is also described at the end of Bhagavatam. And there it is described by Sutta Goswami. So here it is being described by, like the verse which we just now saw, second canto. This is a description by Shukadev Goswami. At the end, Sutta Goswami also says it. So there he compares sthiti or sthanam with another word, which is equivalent. It is called vritti. Vritti. And if you would like to just tell a generic meaning of vritti, in every vernacular language, it is there, vritti.
Occupation, Prabhu.
Occupation. When someone retires, he is called nivritti, is it not? So that's the word. So can someone also please, Prabhu, can you please read the second paragraph also? Same described
Yes,
in.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Same described in 12.7.13 as vritti.
Ah.
Vritti means the process of sustenance
Yeah.
by which the moving beings live upon the non-moving beings.
Yeah.
For a human, vritti specifically means acting for one's livelihood in a manner suited to his personal. Prabhu, it has gone.
Yes.
To his personal nature, either by desire or according to regulation. Hare Krishna.
So here another insight is given for this sthanam. What it is, sthanam is description of places. Another thing, description of places which jivas can inhabit. Jivas can inhabit either in the Bhumandala, many dvipas, varshas. They can inhabit the lokas which are above, 6 lokas, 6 planetary systems above, or 7 below, total 14. So description of that whole places is sthanam. Another thing is also that who gets qualified to go where? So that is decided by whom? Would anyone like to throw some light on it? Who gets to go where? How is it decided?
The Lord decides.
On basis of what?
Our karmas and desires.
So that's called vritti. Vritti here means that the jivas, they do some activities according to their natures, which breed reactions. And based on those reactions, they are qualified to go and stay in any of these places. Just like we may, we may buy some flat in apartments. Depending on how much we have, we can afford. To that extent, we can buy with facilities, whichever flat it is. So if we have meager amount, then we may just have simple, flat. If we have more and more, money, then we can spend and get much better and better, more comfortable, luxurious place, flat. So like that, the description, first one is about the places, their meaning. The second is about what are those activities needed to go there. That is also described in this fifth canto. So in that sense, the sthanam is very important topic, because one of the important purposes of creating this world is to facilitate the desires of jiva. Right? So for that, Lord is making such elaborate arrangements. You can see that he is creating different varieties of places with so many facilities, with such great detail. And all this is to help the jivas try to fulfill their desires. Lord is very magnanimous. He is giving the jiva that leeway or the freedom to try to exercise to fulfill their desire. So that is the mercy of Lord. So the description of reading of this material world, creation, maintenance, all this, it actually shows how Lord is merciful. When a child is very badly wanting to do something, which parent doesn't actually approve of, he knows that will not be good. But what to do? The child is so very stubborn on it. So parent will help fulfill that desire in the least harmful way. He also accompanies them and helps them to ultimately realize that actually that is not good for you. You should actually be happy in this place called spiritual world. So Lord, he teaches the jiva with great patience, with great, how do we say, consideration. Okay, this jiva wants this desire, this thing desire. Okay, there is this facility for that. You want this particular body, right? You have this particular desire, so you need this particular body. You need to stay at this place. You need to have these people around you. You need to have this long duration of life. You need to have the whole atmosphere which can help you fulfill that desire. So Lord is arranging so many things for one insignificant jiva's petty desire. Is it not? So the Lord is so very magnanimous. He's not telling, oh, if you don't come to me, then I will just punish you, and no. He wants the jivas to come to him with voluntarily, with a very conscious desire to serve him and please. He's not forcing the jiva. So that is he respects that independence of the jiva. So that is his magnanimity. So there is one verse which I also wanted to show. Now we will move to, I hope all of you are able to appreciate this sthanam topic, because Bhagavatam sometimes is very difficult to understand, especially in these topics. And sometimes we may have so many conceptions before coming to Krishna consciousness about this world, about the planets, about these things. And what we read in Bhagavatam may sometimes contradict, completely oppose. Some things may go well or some things may not go well with our past understanding. So what we see here is a description of the whole universe from a multi-dimensional view. It is not just a view which we have been used to see so far with our eyes and with whatever education we have received. No. So this description of sthana given by Shukdev Goswami is at a very high plane, which is not very conceivable to us. So when we read these descriptions, we should accept it with the faith that yes, he is describing it from such a high plane of understanding of material world, and no need to wage that kind of a great doubt or opposition on that. Now, the second topic in our small brief study here, I want to specify, if at all we have to ultimately aim, this is our aim, to go back to Krishna, then why we need to study material world? Why we need to study this external energy of Lord, which is very binding, very illusory, attracting? Why do we need to study? Yes, any of you would like to explain that?
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Actually, material world is Ashashwatam, which Srila Prabhupada says.
Correct.
So when you know that there is something called bad, then you know automatically what is good and how to progress ahead for it. We will understand, Prabhu.
So you need to know to develop detachment, you means to not develop that interest towards this world. Is that what Mataji was saying? Hare Krishna. We need to know this world so that we are not interested in it.
Yes, Prabhu. But we also should understand with this material body, we can progress to achieve the spiritual success also. I don't know if I'm telling it correctly, Prabhu. So much is my knowledge.
Okay, wonderful. That's true. How we can attain spiritual perfection even in this material body with the help of this material body. Anyone else would like to add why we need to study material world when we have to ultimately leave it?
Prabhu, for our day-to-day living.
Okay.
You should know about the material things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have to live now, Prabhu, in this for our living. We
Okay.
should know about the material world.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
We rightly
This,
understand how to act in this world by reading all this. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this material world is insignificant, Ekapada, whereas the
Ekapada.
spiritual world is Tripada.
Correct.
Just to show how it is so insignificant.
Oh, okay. So that's
Hare
wonderful.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu. I understand the greatness of the Lord Prabhu when I study the material world.
Wow.
How nicely he has constructed everything, and also his love for all of us, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's true.
To fulfill the desires.
Thank you for that insight. True. Yes.
It is the reflection of the spiritual world, but perverted, Prabhu.
Perverted. Correct. Prabhu, you wanted to say?
I think Mataji covered it. So it is the energy of the Lord. It's created by the Lord, the material world.
Yeah.
So it tells us how great the Lord is. Ekam shena stito jagat. So he says, all after describing everything, it's just a small fragment of my energy. So
thank you, Prabhu, for these insights. Yes, all of you told these are all described in Shastras and purport. Wonderful. There is one particular verse and purport of Prabhupada. I wanted to show this. This also comes in second canto. Before beginning all these descriptions, Shukadeva Goswami makes some very nice, gives some nice principles. He's going to describe Maya. Mayam varnayataha. Maya, it can mean spiritual energy also, but here specifically it means Mahamaya. So he says, Mayam varnayato mushya ishwarasya anumodataha. So when we hear about Maya, which is approved by Ishvara, how he acts, how this Maya actually acts under the direction of Ishvara. And that description, learning about Maya as Ishvara wants us to learn. See, there are many people who study material world, right? And often it actually entangles. Jada Maya. What is that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Jada Mayara Vaibhav, Jada Vidya Mayara Vaibhav. The description of material world or learning about material world, which is disconnected from Supreme Lord. If we are learning in that manner, that actually entangles. But here, learning about Maya as Ishvara has done Anumodan or approved it. How? Shrinvataha Shraddhaya Nityam. One should do Shravan about it with great faith. How often? Nityam. Then what happens? The promise which Shukadeva Goswami says is Mayayatmana Muhyati. What does this mean? Can anyone like to explain? Mayaya Atma na Muhyati.
Maya cannot play the role.
So if one studies Maya like this, hears about Maya like this, oh, this is how the Mahamaya functions. With great faith, daily, not just once, we have to hear daily. Then such a person will not be affected by this Maya. This is the Shukadeva Goswami's promise. Apply. Kindly read the translation. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So, would someone like to tell what does it mean, energies of Lord? Any varieties would like to be named? Any of you would like to name the energies of Lord?
Antaranga, Bahiranga,
Antaranga, Bahiranga, Tatastha. Largely, it is external Bahiranga and internal Antaranga. So, Lord does activities in association with both of them. With internal energy, that is Antaranga Shakti, Lila Shakti, when he himself descends or what he is acting in spiritual world, these are all activities. his Leelas. The Leelas where he, with Swarupa Shakti, when like Lord does Vrindavana Leela, Dwaraka Leela, Mathura Leela, or Avatara Leela, all this. Now, there is another type of activity which Lord does in association with material energy. That is this whole creation, maintenance, destruction, all that. This is all Lord's activity in association with which energy? Which energy?
Prabhu, the question, can you repeat?
Okay. So I told there are two types of activities or leelas of Lord. One type of activity or leela, very famously known, is Lord's activity in association with internal energy of Lord, Antaranga Shakti. They are like Vrindavan Leela, Dwaraka Leela, Mathura Leela, all those leelas, Govardhan Leela, many, many like. Now there is another type of leela which Lord does in this world. Creation, maintenance, destruction. So here Lord is acting in association with which energy?
External energy,
External
Mahamaya.
energy, Mahamaya. So Prabhupada, this is a very important purport. When we are reading anything about Srishti, Sthiti, or Visarga, all this, this is something very, very, gives a very good direction on how to approach these topics. We will read this. Kindly read The Science of Learning. Please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat Pranam.
The science of learning a subject matter
Yeah.
seriously is different from the sentiments of fanatics.
Yeah.
Fanatics or fools may consider the Lord's activities in relation with the external energy to be useless for them, and they may falsely claim to be higher participants in the internal energy of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's activities in relation with the external energy and the internal energy are equally good.
So let's
On
quickly
the
recollect. What are the types of activities? Give some examples of Lord's activities in relation with external energy.
creation, Prabhu,
Creation,
and
all this
internal energy,
maintenance, all this.
many pastimes. Yes.
Pastime. So both are equally good. Continue read. On the other hand,
On the other hand, those who are not completely free from the clutches of the Lord's external energy should devoutly hear regularly about the activities of the Lord in relation with the external energy. They should not foolishly jump up to the activities of the Lord's internal energy, falsely attracted by such activities as his Rasa Leela. The chief reciters of Bhagavatam are very much enthusiastic about the activities of the Lord's internal potencies, and the pseudo devotees absorbed in material sense enjoyment falsely jump to the stage of liberated souls and thus fall down deeply into the clutches of the external energy. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Would anyone like to summarize in one or two sentences what Mataji just now read? What do you all understand from this small paragraph? Anybody? What is Prabhupada talking here? Why is?
Prabhupada is telling that we should not jump directly to the Rasalila part of the Lord without getting disconnected from the external energy. Prabhu, overcoming the Maya, Mahamaya, we should not go to the 10th canto to read about this Rasalila. They are known as the pseudo devotees and they are the professional reciters of the Bhagavatam.
Thank you. Thanks for that. So, Mataji just now told that one should not foolishly jump to the activities of Lord with in relation to internal energy. See, of course, Prabhupada is talking here about Rasa Lila, which is the most misunderstood Lila, or for Lord Krishna, the highest Lila, but most misunderstood. Now you see why it is misunderstood. Because when people don't understand the tattva of Lord, how Lord is great, how Lord is beyond these three modes. Passion and ignorance are not there at all. The goodness, passion, ignorance, all these three gunas are not at all there. He's completely nirguna. So such a person, unless this is very clear, if one approaches directly these pastimes, he will mostly misunderstand. So that is why Bhagavatam doesn't introduce us to the 10th canto topics in the very beginning. It tells about little here and there just to develop our attraction and curiosity. But the description, there is a lot of time is spent on understanding how Lord is beyond these three modes, how Lord is not like any conditioned soul. All this description goes great length. So that's why Prabhupada further says here, maybe can you read only the highlighted part, the yellow color highlighted part, a pure devotee.
A pure devotee knows that there is no difference between the Lord's Rasalila pastimes and his pastimes of creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world. Rather, the descriptions of such activities of the Lord as those performed by the Purushavasaras are specifically meant for persons who are in the clutches of the external energy.
Yes.
Topics like the Rasa Leela are meant for the liberated souls and not for the conditioned souls. So the conditioned souls, therefore, must hear with appreciation and devotion the Lord's pastime in relationship with external energy. And hearing such pastime is as good as hearing the Rasa Leela in the liberated state.
Just see Prabhupada's amazing statement. When we hear about how Lord has created, he is maintaining all these descriptions, which is very, very difficult to conceive of, with great faith and appreciation when we hear it, it is as good as hearing the Rasa Leela in liberated stage. Who can actually appreciate the Rasa Leela? Those are in liberated stage. Then how can we get benefit? We have to hear about these pastimes. Actually, there is no difference. The Lord is actually acting completely out of his own desire. There is no binding or karma or gunas acting on him. So one should understand these tattvas. That's why the Bhagavatam, see this part Prabhupada says, the first 9 cantos prepare the ground for hearing the 10th canto. And it was Prabhupada's desire. Prabhupada did not present Bhagavatam as just a narration of Lord Krishna's activities. He presented it as, maybe we'll read this part. Can you, Mataji, read? This is the last part of the purport. We wish to
present Srimad Bhagavatam as the science of Godhead and not as a sensuous understanding for the conditioned souls. This is forbidden by such authorities as Sri Brahmaji. By reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam as a scientific presentation, the conditioned souls will gradually be promoted to the higher status of transcendental knowledge after being freed from the illusory energy based on sense enjoyment.
Amen. So, Bhagavatam presentation by Prabhupada is, in what sense? How is he presenting? Any one word? Scientific presentation. He told it as science of God. The most scientific presentation about Krishna consciousness is found in Bhagavatam. That's how Shukadev Goswami described it. But people often, they don't follow that sequence. They don't follow that progression. But Prabhupada is describing in that original progression, that scientific presentation, so that one can gradually be promoted. See, when we approach 10th canto, by that time, our conception about the Supreme Lord, our attitude towards the Supreme Lord, the sadhanas which we are following, Bhakti Yoga, in that what are the modes in which we should follow those essential qualities, this should be actually developed. Then one can actually appreciate Lord Krishna's activities, the pristine activities described in 10th canto. So, like this, Srimad Bhagavatam explains us the need for studying Lord's activities, Lord's external energy. Though we have to transcend it, this is something which we are regularly interacting with in this world. We see sun, we see moon, we see this whole world, how it is functioning, all that. So how all things are acting, How is Lord acting in this world through the perceptible things which I am seeing every day? So by that, I remember Krishna more easily. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna says this, "Oh Lord Krishna, kindly describe me how I can remember you at every moment when I am living in this world." You know where he says this? Where he asks this question in Bhagavad Gita? Can you recollect? One of the very famous chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks this question. How I can remember you when I see matter in this world?
Vibhuti Yoga, 10th chapter.
Correct, Vibhuti Yoga. Very nice. You recollected. 10th chapter. He says there. Because this is what is the conditioned soul's need. He's seeing material things, right? He doesn't have that spiritual vision. So, if you describe that spiritual wonderful activities, it's wonderful, but it remains as a very inexperienciable thing because he's not purified in his vision. So, what is his perception? What is his senses perceiving? Material. So, how I can develop my Krishna consciousness while interacting in this material world? That is Arjuna's concern also, that is Parikshit's concern also, and that's what is explained in Gita and Bhagavata. Now, in this last few minutes, we will conclude with this very technical description, the factual description of Jambudvipa and Ilavrita Varsha. I heard that all of you had very nice explanation about these from the earlier speakers. So that's why I choose to not highlight on that, because those technical descriptions are already described. I chose to discuss on the pretext of this, how to approach this whole topic. So now, in the little time we have, we'll quickly go to this description of Jambudvipa and Ilavrita Varsha. I hope you are able to see this image. I just clicked some images to help better understand. So we all know that in a Brahmanda, there is Lord Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lying in this ocean, and from his navel comes the lotus flower. Just like there is lotus flower when you see in a lake, there is a big lotus leaf, Padma Patra. So like that, there is a big leaf, which actually resembles the what? Bhu Mandala. And on that Padma Patra, there are many islands. These 7 islands. You know who made these 7 islands? Any of you recollect?
Priyavrata Maharaj.
Not Prithu, Priyavrata Maharaj. And when he had heard this, Parikshit heard this, he was curious to know, oh, how is it that he made it? So please describe about those 7 islands. So that was his question. That's the beginning how this whole conversation or description starts. So then there is this, all these 7 islands are described in great length. So those 7 islands are called by different names. The innermost that island is called as Jambudvipa, right? So you all must have heard or seen those diagrams. So the Jambudvipa, which is innermost, this is the top view. Of course, in the very middle, there is the Mount Sumeru, the Golden Mountain. So the Jambudvipa as a whole is surrounded by an ocean, saltwater ocean. And after that, there is a land also. So the Dvipa has total how many landscapes or land version? That is, how many count here? 3, 3, 6, 2, 8, and one more in the middle. Total 9 versions. And what we are right now reading is the description of the innermost Varsha. Varsha means it's actually a land which is having the boundaries of mountains. Dvipa means the land which is surrounded by water. Dvipa and Varsha, there are 2 different types of landmark, how you mark the land. So Ilavrita Varsha, which is the innermost, that is what currently we are seeing in this first chapter of the cosmology, 16th chapter. Now in this Ilavrita Varsha, what is now being described, sorry, what happened here, is the particular mountains around it. You can see this mountain, these mountains. So in these mountains, what in this particular shloka we are seeing is these mountains. You can see here, I'm just referring to the Bhagavat Subhodhini book. If you might have already these books, you can see that more clearly there. So there are these mountains which are 4 in the 4 corners. There are of course 2 to 8 here, plus 4 on the periphery. So in these mountains there are trees. There is one big tree on the top of each of this mountain. On this mountain called Kumuda, there is a very big banyan tree. You can see that, yeah, mountain Kumuda. Similarly, mountain Suparshva, there is a big Kadamba tree. Yeah. Similarly, on the Mount Meru Mandara, there is rose apple tree, Jambu tree. And on this mountain, this mountain called Mandara, this is what is currently described in 15-16 shlokas, is a tree called Devachuta or mango tree. So this tree has those mangoes, and those mangoes actually are so full of juice, which practically flow like a river or a lake. So that is also told, the lake, the mango juice which flows out. Of course, there is a lake here also, Milk Lake, and a garden, Nandana garden. So each of this mountain has that special tree, the lake, and that flow of that juice which comes out of that tree. So these descriptions seem very nice to imagine. Are they really factual? That might be a question by our intellect. So we understand, as we already earlier saw, that these descriptions are seen from very high plane of vision, a yogic vision or purified vision, which Shukadeva Goswami is seeing through his samadhi and is describing them. So some things which may not be conceivable, we still don't reject it. Even though our intellect doesn't fully accept it, we don't reject it, because to reject would be inappropriate. But we may, okay, park it. Right now, my faith, my realizations are very meager. I can't understand them, but Shastra is describing as any other description. This is also for my benefit, so I accept it in that spirit. Instead of contesting it against our whatever understanding we have so far got, we can at least respect it and appreciate that, yes, it's inconceivable like that. So this kind of description shows, there is also description that all these places are actually greatly enjoyable places for Devata. So I'll end with this last point, that there are 3 types of enjoyable places in this material world, Swargas. The first type of Swarga is what we see in the higher planetary system, the moon and other planets above. There's Swarga, which is Deva Swarga. And there are also Swargas on this Jambudvipa, the other Varshas, except the Bharata Varsha. The other 8 Varshas are also Swargas. They are called Bhauma Swargas. There is a Swarga, type of Swarga, which is under the or inside the Bhumandala, Vitala, Sutala. There also there is a great enjoyment, which God has, Lord Krishna has arranged for jivas. So depending on how one's piety or karma is, to that extent, that particular Swarga, the jivas actually access and they try to enjoy that. So in this 15th and 16th shloka today, what we are seeing there, that how these mountains are and who all go there and enjoy, and who all appreciate that beauty, who all get qualified. They are actually very pious beings, devatas, gandharvas, all of them. So I would like to conclude it here. Today, what did we see? We saw essentially those 3 topics. Any of you recollect what 3 topics we saw? Hare Krishna. Any of you recollect what did we?
Position of Canto 5 and need to know about the external energy of the Lord, and finally about the
finally about some specific description of the Vedas. I end here the description what I had prepared and learned. I request any of you want to comment. Sankarshan Priya Prabhu, Prasannatma Balram Prabhu, many senior Vaishnavas are here. Vaishnavis Matajis. You can comment, or if you have any questions, whatever I know, I would like to offer explanations, whatever my understanding. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So any of you have any comments or questions? I think I...
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for having a very interactive session and explaining us the significance of this specific canto, fifth canto, with respect to overall Srimad Bhagavatam and why Krishna, why, actually Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami has actually explained the material creation in detail in this specific canto. Thank you, Prabhuji. I think it was already a very good interactive session, but devotees may please share your comments or questions if you may have.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Very, very interesting session. Hope you will come more often to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Prabhu, you said the three enjoyable places in the world, you said Devaswarga and Brahmaswarga. And you also told about Swarga in the lower planets, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's called Bila Swarga.
Bila.
Bila means something inside, no?
Mm.
Yes, Bila Swarga. It's called. So this actually comes for all of you in the 17th chapter, 17th, 18th. These words come there. What I'm saying, they actually come there. You will read about it. Yeah, you had anything to ask on that?
But how you call the lower planets as Swarga? Only if you are a demonic, you go there, they say.
Yeah. So there is also, when you read about the subterranean planets, which are Atala, Vitala, Sutala, all that, their description of those planets is given. You will see that at the place called Atala and Vitala, there is Lord Shiva himself staying there. And there are, high intoxication, high great amount of sense vitality is there, and people enjoy. So there are enjoyments in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Is it not? So the Devaswarga is actually a great piety by which people enjoy, have sense enjoyment in mode of goodness there. Those who don't have that kind of piety or karma, they have, but at the same time, it's far above the average jivas on the Jambu Bharatavarsha. They are given enjoyment on the earthly plane in the other varshas, except Bharatavarsha. Outside Bharatavarsha, the varshas are all actually very heavenly, actually. You will see that right now Ilavrata Varsha is being described. Soon you will see Ilavrata Varsha's enjoyments and many things. It's soon going to follow. And similarly, those who have karmas, they are having piety, but they are in predominantly mode of ignorance. For them, the Bilaswarga is also another place of enjoyment where there is immense amount of wealth. There is immense amount of enjoyment too. You will read that.
Prabhu, like Bali Maharaj is in Sutala.
Yes, Sutala. Actually, the places of pain or suffering come way below them. They are hells, 28 types of hells, which is way below Patala, actually, in the side of Patala. So often we mistake hells. These are all hells only. Atala, Vitala. No, they are also habitable places for jivas having that particular karma. They have enjoyment there. There is suffering there. There is enjoyment, suffering at all places in the whole of Brahmanda. So the main place for punishing the jivas is hells, which is separate than this Atala, Vitala to Patala. They are separate. Is that okay?
Right. Say there's no light and things, there'll be darkness, then how can it's called as heaven?
Heaven. That's mode of ignorance. In this world also you can see many people have their living completely in a dark place, and still they are feeling that they are enjoying. Yeah, like that. So it's a mode of ignorance, actually. You're right. It's mode of ignorance. So often the jivas below subterranean, they are all tamasic or rakshasi vrittis. They are there. The deva vritti are those who are, Krishna conscious, God conscious. Their habitation is above. In the other varshas are above, up till Brahmalok. Any other comment? I think can conclude, Prabhu. I already went late.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much,
Sorry
Prabhuji,
for this.
for your time. So we will conclude today's class with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpataru. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namaha. Yatra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sapoti Vaishnava ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhu, where is Prabhu from? Prabhu is from?
Actually, I'm based in NVCC Pune,